Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today I need to make a sympathy arrangement in a basket. So this is just a wicker basket. We have these here at the flower shop, and they actually have a plastic liner, which makes it so wonderful. So I have got one block of fresh floral foam down in this basket, and I have filled the reservoir with fresh water. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use some tape, and I am going to tape that foam into place. Now it's very important when making an arrangement that you tape it into place because it could topple out. So be careful and make sure you're taping your foam in place. Now I am going to take this liner, and I'm going to take that tape and come across that foam, taping it on the inside of the line. I'm on the outside of the liner, and that way it's not going to go anywhere. So it's a crisscrossed tape pattern there. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to add some foliage to our arrangement. The foliage include jade, some leatherleaf fern, and a little bit of eucalyptus. So this is just a pretty mixed eucalyptus. Okay, I'm going to start out with my jade. My jade's going to give me my height for this arrangement. Let me grab my trash can. So I am going to start out with my jade, and I'm going to take my floral knife, which is my favorite floral tool, if in case anybody wondered. My very favorite tool is my knife. I'm going to take that jade, and I am just going to press it back towards the back of that floral foam. Now anytime you're working on an arrangement that's one-sided, meaning all the flowers are facing the front, you always want to work as far back in that foam as you can, okay? Because if you get too close, you don't have a whole lot of foam to work with. So if you'll work with the very farthest part of the foam you can, start there, then you have more space to work with, more foam to cover. So I'm just taking my greenery, and I'm stripping those leaves off the bottom, and just pressing. I'm cutting that stem at an angle, and I'm just pressing it right down into that floral foam. And really I'm working in more of a fan shape. You're gonna see it come together as more of a fan shaped arrangement. And I'm going to green out all the way around the front, and then I'm going to turn it around and also add foliage on the back. Now anytime you're making an arrangement like this, you want to be sure to green out the back side too, because we want the back to look nice also. So you can see how I'm just adding those leaves. Now I'm going to turn my arrangement around, and I'm just going to cover this foam on the back side. Just go ahead and press that greenery right down in there and cover it up.
So it's going to be throughout the day, anywhere between probably 9 and 4.
All right. So there is our greenery on the back side. So you see how it's just covered. I'm just making sure to cover that foam. Now we're going to add a little bit of leather leaf to this arrangement. I've got one more stem of this greenery. Okay. So there is there's our jade. Next we're going to add just a little bit of leather leaf. And I am just tucking that right into that arrangement. I just like different textures. Now if you don't have different foliages, you do not have to worry about this part. But I love the fact that it has a little bit of a different texture with the different types of foliage. And what we'll do is the eucalyptus we'll use last. Okay, so there is our foliage. Next we're going to come in with our line flower. So let me show you the line flower. I'll show you the flowers that we chose. So this is actually one of our website orders, and it is called the Unicorn Sympathy Basket, I believe. And so it includes a white handled basket, fresh floral foam, the greenery. Now it had gladiolus in it. We don't happen to have any gladiolus in, so I wanted to go with the same color that it had. So it had a fuchsia glad. So we're going to use some fuchsia colored stock. So we have a few fuchsia colored stock. So this is going to be our line. So we're going to take it, I'm going to cut that stem at an angle, and I'm going to press that right down into that floral foam. I'm going to take a second stem, cut it at an angle, and I'm just kind of following a picture. So this is kind of how the arrangement, how the glads looked in the arrangement. All right, the next flower we're going to use is a hydrangea, but we're going to paint this hydrangea to look like a unicorn hydrangea. So a unicorn hydrangea is actually a hydrangea that we normally order from the from Budsy. It's actually a painted hydrangea that we get from them, and I don't have any in. So we are going to tint these two white hydrangeas to be unicorn hydrangeas. So we're going to start off with a little bit of lavender, and this is just for flowers lilac paint. So we're just going to take that paint and we are going to slightly hit this hydrangea with a little bit of lilac paint. So you can see I'm kind of just tapping that plunger, so it's not a heavy flow of paint, just a slight little tap. The next color we're going to use is a teal blue. Now this teal blue is a Design Master paint, and they're actually both made by Design Master, but this is a true paint. It is not like the Just for Flowers that's a tint. It's actually a paint, so you have to be careful not get it too heavy. So I'm just going to take that and come across that hydrangea with just splashes of that turquoise paint. But you see how I'm just hitting that plunger slightly so it's not too heavy of a paint. Next we're going to come in with Wild Rose. Now Wild Rose is a transparent flower dye, the same as the lilac. It is Just for Flowers, and it's also made by Design Master, but it is a dye, so it's more of a transparent. So I'm just going to come over the top of those two colors and pop a little pink in there. So it's just a fun little painted hydrangeas. Okay, so what I'm going to do with these hydrangeas is I am going to take them and to make sure that it keeps our flowers a little more hydrated, I am going to separate these just a smidge, just like that, and I'm going to pop them with a little more of the lilac. Just a pretty little hydrangea. So I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that stem at an angle, and I'm going to dip it right down in that quick dip. I usually count to about 7. Now quick dip is a hydrating solution that just helps to keep these hydrangeas hydrated. So it's almost like alum, and it just crisps that flower. Okay, there are 2 of those pretty hydrangeas. Okay, next we're going to come in with a couple of these beautiful Oregon disc buds. So these are just a pretty purpley colored mum. It is a disbud, meaning it's just a single flower. Most often, and I say most often, and that's not true, there are a lot of different varieties of mums, and this happens to just be a single bloom mum versus there are some spray mums that have lots of different little heads. This is a beautiful disbud. So I'm going to take it, and the picture showed 3 of these mums right over here. So I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that stem at an angle. Very carefully, you're going to press that mum right down into that foam. I'm going to take my second stem, cut it at an angle. And then my third stem. Okay, there's my 3 mums. Next we're going to come in with some coral colored roses. So look how beautiful a color this is. Such a really, really pretty coral colored rose. So I'm taking and removing any of the petals that don't look pretty. Just go ahead and pop those off. It's not going to hurt it at all. So next what I'm going to do is take a little bit of wire. Slide this over for a second. I'm going to lay my roses here. I'm going to take a stem. We have some floral wire, 21 gauge. This is the wire I like the best. I'm going to take it and I'm going to press it right into the calyx. It's the little swollen part right up underneath the rose. And I'm going to twist that wire right around that stem. Now what this is going to do, it's my insurance, and it means that it's going to keep this head from flopping over. If in case this arrangement runs out of water, what happens is the stem gets really, really weak, and it's hard for him to hold that head of that rose up. So what happens is that rose will dip, and this keeps that rose head standing up straight. So I'm going to take my floral knife. I'm going to cut that stem at an angle. You have to be careful with this variety of rose. It has the tiniest of thorns that will bite you. So I'm going to take and tuck this pretty coral colored rose in. Remove any foliage that might be in the way, but if it's pretty and it's not in your way, leave that foliage on. Don't strip that rose. A lot of times the first thing people do is pull that foliage right off that rose. Don't do it, y'all. That foliage helps to add to your arrangement. It gives it an added pretty variety of foliage. And so when you get your roses, and I've seen so many designers do this, they strip that foliage right off. And then it's just a naked stem. And y'all, if you would just leave that pretty foliage, if it's not in your way and it looks pretty, leave it on there, okay? Because it's not extra. It doesn't cost you any extra to leave that pretty foliage in place. All right, there's my 3 little coral roses on that side. Again, I am following a picture that we have online. Okay, so there's our 3 little coral roses. Now I am going to add a few lilies. So we have these beautiful oriental lilies. I love this pink color, and I thought it was really lovely with those unicorn hydrangeas. So I'm going to tuck a couple stems or a couple blooms of our hydrangeas right in here. These are not hydrangeas, they're lilies. Our oriental lilies, we're going to tuck a couple just right here in this vase, just to give us a little fullness. So this stem is already, this little bloom is already broken, but we're able to still use it. It's still a very lovely bloom. I'm going to take my floral knife, and I am cutting that stem at an angle, and I'm just going to press him right down into that floral foam. He is perfect in that spot, and so it was completely okay that he was that short. I'm going to take my second bloom, and I am going to remove the anthers from this lily. So our anthers are what open up and cause that pollen to spread onto, it'll stain your lily. It'll stain the lily, it'll stain your hands, it'll stain your clothes. So anytime the anthers are still left in your lily, remove them. Go ahead and pull them out. And they will not damage the flower, okay? Or your clothes. So I cut that stem at an angle, and I'm gonna nestle him right down in to that foam. So see how pretty they are tucked in? And then I have one more stem, and I'm actually going to, I think I'm gonna tuck him, I'm gonna pull that bloom off, cut it in an angle, and I'm gonna tuck him over in this empty spot here. Just to give us a little color. All right, there we go. Now to finish off this arrangement, I don't love how this greenery is hanging down. I'm just gonna take it and cut it off. You can trim things up. There we go, I think that helps. Okay, next, the last thing we're going to do is add a little bit of eucalyptus. Now, I am not exactly sure the variety of eucalyptus. I don't believe that it's Parfolia. I'm not exactly sure the variety, but it's pretty. It came in a mixed box of eucalyptus, so I'm going to strip off the bottom leaves there, and then I'm going to just tuck that stem right down into that foam. I'm actually just going to use my snips. And look at the pretty texture that eucalyptus provides. And I love that it kind of drips down all the way around in this basket. To me, it really adds to the arrangement. Now, again, this is an arrangement called the Unicorn Basket. I believe it's a sympathy basket on our website. It does not look exactly like the picture, but it's pretty close. I used definitely the same color scheme. The lilies I decided to add. I just didn't like that it was quite so sparse, so I did add the lilies. And everything else except the stock. The stock, we didn't have the gladiolus. So we just used stock as the color, the added color. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me. If you have any questions about how we do things here at our flower shop, please ask. We are so happy to answer questions for you. Today, the flowers that we used in this specific arrangement include hydrangeas that I tinted with Design Master paint. One of the best inventions ever, if in case you were wondering. We have oriental lilies, a coral colored rose, fuchsia colored stock, and purple disbuds. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Be sure, if you have not already, subscribe to our channel. To do that, hit that subscribe button. If you'll hit that little bell, you will get notifications for when we go live. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a great big favor and give us a thumbs up. Guys, y'all have a great day. We'll see you soon.